Well, hey kids, can you hear me now? Hello to all of my friends out there in Udi land. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up, give me a hello, give me something. Let me make sure this thing is working. Hello, Kathy Beals. Hey, Caleb, how are you? Hello, Patrick. Psycho Panda, nice to see you. I wear aprons. Well, hello there. Very cool. Rhonda, you can hear me. Very good. Hello, Sorrenti, how are you? Oh, I'm glad to see so many folks here. Hello, Catherine. Very nice. The loaded sink. Oh, there's a new one. Hey, B. How's it going, Mark? Hey, Grizz. You notice something new next to your name? Thought I'd have a little fun with that. That and scare the hell out of my other moderators, you know? What the hell? We can't have fun doing this. Why bother, right? Anyhow, how is everybody after surviving Turkey Day? I hope everybody made it. We didn't lose anybody along the way. That's right, Grizz. You'll have to put yourself in timeout now. Hello, the cool guy. How are you? Hello, Austin. Welcome. Glad to see a lot of new folks in the chat. That's really cool. Glad you guys made it. Very glad you guys made it. Sorrenti wants more turkey. No, I had my share of turkey. I'm done. Although, you know, I'm not one of those people that only has turkey on Thanksgiving. I eat turkey all year long, so I don't think it's something that has to be sacred. Hello, Christine. How are you doing? Hello, Caleb. Oh, gosh, Caleb, let's not even start talking about Black Friday and all that nonsense. These people are crazy. I did see an interesting picture. Hello, Austin. How are you? Welcome, sir. I did see an interesting picture. It was a picture of a bunch of people in a store fighting over television sets and literally getting into fisticuffs. And I thought to myself, man, what would happen in reality if we ran out of food instead of we're running low on television sets? I wonder how people would react then. Hello, the loaded sink. Nice to meet you. Oh, at least you got leftovers. That's good. Hey, Judy, how are you doing? Austin, you guys don't do Thanksgiving, but don't they have another holiday around Thanksgiving time in England? Isn't it Boxing? No, that's not Boxing Day. Isn't there some other holiday that you guys have? Did the TV survive? I don't know, Judy. I don't know. So many people were fighting over it. It was just a photograph that I seen, so I don't know if the TV survived or not. I would assume so. But I'm sure glad I don't work in retail, especially on days like that. That would just be horrible. Be absolutely horrible. So, fortunately, I don't know how to use a wrench. Well, there you go, Grizz. You're like a kid with a new toy. You'll have to figure it out. Just wield that wrench in honor. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. Wield that wrench in honor. First time live streaming on the phone. So, Caleb, you're receiving it on the phone, I take it, because as I understand it, we cannot live stream with a phone. In other words, I can't record myself on my phone for a live stream, but I can do on my laptop. I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. Guy Fawkes Night on November 5th, but nothing else till Christmas. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Remember the 5th of November. Yeah? Yep, okay. The 5th of November. Caleb, you'll have to remind me. What do you mean the 5th of November? I'm not sure what you mean by that. On my phone. Okay. All right. I got more fat on Turkey Day. Okay. Well, why don't I go ahead and get started? We're 5 minutes into this now, so why don't we go ahead and get going? Gunpowder, treason, and plot. There you go, Austin. That's the American way, isn't it? That's the American way. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. Funny, 200 years later, nothing's changed, right? Funny how that is. Oh, Mark, don't help him. You'll make him into a nightmare. Okay, so here's a couple of developments that came up. I had a conversation this past week with some friends of mine down in Mexico, in good old sunny La Paz, Mexico, and they were reminding me of an interesting fact. A lot of people who want to get into the cruising, sailing genre, people that want to buy a sailboat and sail around the world, especially those on the west coast of the United States, will be in Seattle or California or Oregon, wherever they are, and they'll buy a boat and they'll fix it up and they'll head down the coast and sail around over into the Sea of Cortez, which is where La Paz, Mexico is. And after that trip, that first initial trip, which only takes maybe a month or so, a lot of people abandon ship. They bail out on their plans. They decide this is not what they want. They dislike it, whatever. Usually what happens is they get offshore, they get scared by big weather, or the wife gets seasick or something, and they decide to change their plans. So the Sea of Cortez has this tendency to collect a lot of very well-equipped, well-prepared boats by people who started a trip and then abandoned them for whatever their reasoning. And sure enough, I checked with Yacht World, and there are quite a few really good quality sailboats to be had in the Sea of Cortez for a reasonable amount of money. So I thought that was very interesting, and with things progressing up here in Alaska, in fact, I'm showing the farm to a couple tomorrow. So we're making some progress here. So hopefully we can see how that progresses. Maybe we might just end up selling the farm and being able to get out of here before the end of the year. So I did find a couple really nice boats down there, really, really nice boats in the 36 to 42 foot range, in and around that $50,000 mark. So pretty cool, and boats that are well equipped with good sails and good engines and water makers and all the kind of cool toys that we want to have. So why does the Sea of Cortez remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean? Warm tropical water would be the only thing that they have that's similar. Even the fish in the water tend to be somewhat different. If the boat comes with a year's supply of rum, I would consider not buying it. Yeah, well, unfortunately, with my elevated liver enzymes, rum's going to be kind of out of the question. In fact, I've had a couple of beers these last few days, and it really started hurting my liver again. So I think I have to come to the conclusion that I have to quit drinking beer permanently forever, and that's just going to be it. So that movie is my spirit animal. Pirates of the Caribbean is your spirit animal? Okay. That's a little weird, but okay. Why does Grizz have a wrench? Well, Caleb, I thought it would be fun to put Grizz in a position of authority and see how well he monitors himself, considering that we put him into that. And now he's going to come get you for asking it. Hey, Beth, how you doing? Have I lost any weight? I've lost very little weight, but I am making progress. I'm heading in that direction. So, the clothes are fitting a little bit more comfortably, and so we'll see how that goes. Judy, no Bahama Mamas for you. That's right. For those of you that don't know, a Bahama Mama, there's two different things called Bahama Mamas, by the way. In German Village in Columbus, Ohio, a Bahama Mama is a sausage made by a well-known restaurant there, and there's also a drink called a Bahama Mama. So, but anyhow, we'll see how that. Carl did it, and I'm scared. Rhonda, what are you afraid of? That doesn't make much sense. AMD is the best. Wow, calling me out. Who's calling you out? Okay, Basics to Living. Hey guys, how you doing? Nice to see you here. What's in the drink? I don't know what's in the drink, Beth. I don't remember off the top of my head. Used to be a bartender, haven't done that for years now. So anyhow, what I was going on about is that Mexico's got a bunch of really good boats, and I have people coming and looking at the farm up here soon. Like tomorrow, I've got people coming in at noon tomorrow, which would be cool. So the plan would be, if I were to sell the boat very quickly and be moving out of Alaska in the wintertime, which is going to be problematic at best, I think what I'm going to do is pack my stuff up in a small trailer behind my truck and just drive straight on down to Mexico and buy a boat there. So, well, Beth, thank you. I look younger minus the hat. You should see me without the hair and the beard. I really look young without the hair and the beard. So, and you know, stick to this channel, keep watching. I get down to Mexico, and you will see me probably without the hair and the beard. Because for one thing, it gets too hot, and for another thing, the hair kind of makes my scuba mask leak, and that's never good. Good luck, good luck. Oh, good luck. Okay, yes, Caleb, thank you. I hope I do too. Yes, Sorrenti, I'm fine with driving long distances. I drive cross-country America. I drove from Florida to Alaska and Alaska down to Florida last year. I enjoy going for long drives like that. I would much rather drive from here to Florida than to fly from here to Florida. One of the reasons why I like the idea of sailing around the world. I'd rather sail around the world in a sailboat than fly around in an airplane. I want to sail Vancouver to Alaska one day. Can you please advise any specific sailing advice I need to sail in Alaskan waters? Lots of fuel, John. John Bay, if you're going to sail in Alaskan waters, it's a lot of motoring and very little sailing. Very little sailing. So, and you really got to pay attention to tides and currents, because as the water flows in and out of the intercoastal, it can get pretty rough. Get on YouTube and watch, do some search for that. There's a couple videos out by various people that have done that. Quite a few people have sailed from Vancouver up to Alaska. And then, of course, it also depends on what part of Alaska. Are you going to southeast Alaska, down along the British Columbia coast, that area, or are you coming up as far as where I'm at in south central Alaska? It does make a world of difference. But anyhow, there's some YouTube videos you might want to check out about that. Could you be a model for Just for Men? No, probably not. Red Hawaiian punch, pineapple, and orange juice with 3 kinds of rum is a Bahama model. Oh, there you go, Judy. That sounds yummy. Home place just noticed that Grizz has a wrench. What are my thoughts on the death of Fidel Castro? You know, it's a double-edged sword. I think Fidel Castro did the best that he could given his circumstances and his beliefs at the time. You know, we can never really put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, and for whatever reason, his life and his experience destined him to become the person that he was. I think, you know, the whole Bay of Pigs thing was a travesty, but, you know, we were attacking him. The Soviets putting nuclear weapons on the coast, you know, they took them back out as well. So that was a good thing. The fact is, up until that time, before the revolution in Cuba, Americans weren't really treating the Cubans very well. We were profiting the hell out of them and using them as a garbage land. Had all the mob and stuff down there profiting, and all the major corporations profiting at their loss. So I can kind of understand where Fidel came from. I didn't like him killing and murdering people and protecting himself and planting himself as a potentate forever. But I think his passing is indicative now of a real change in how our things are going to happen. I noticed on the news earlier today they were in Cuba talking to people about it, and a lot of the Cubans thought things should stay just the way they are. So, well, we shall see. We shall see. Let's just carry. Yep, I know, Rhonda. I thought it would be fun to give Grizz a wrench. He's got to behave himself now, otherwise he has to smack himself with the wrench. But Grandpa, when you were done sailing on the far future work of sailing back Alaska back to its rightful owner, when you are done sailing on the far future Work on selling Alaska back to its rightful owners. You want to sell Alaska back to the Russians? I mean, they're the ones who owned it before us. Fact is, it belongs to the natives. But let's not get started in that whole thing, especially after what's going on in the northwest part of America with the Native American tribes there. That's a whole other story that I don't want to get into right now. Okay, so won't everybody want their own wrench? Yeah, pretty soon, Austin, everybody will have to have their own wrench, and then it'll be a flat-out mutiny, you know? We'll have gangs of people with wrenches. So I wish I could give like some people wrenches and some people something else. You know, we could have the Crips and the Bloods out there or something, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. Just remember that I can give wrenches and I can take them away too. So anyhow, I thought we would segue into some fun stuff tonight. I kind of wanted to get a feel for my audience a little bit. And so I thought we might have some fun. And I would like to ask you people to tell me what this is. I don't know how long it's going to take to come up due to our lag, but there you go. Can anybody tell me what that is? Anybody? No, John, it's not a halibut, although that's very close. It's a fish, yes. It's a flounder, yes. The loaded sink, got it. It's a flounder. No, it's not a platypus. It is, in fact, a starry flounder. There's a better picture of it without so much sand on it where you can kind of see what it looks like. But yes, that's the kind of flounder that I was catching up here in Alaska. That's native to this part of Alaska. They're very, very good eating. Okay, so while we're along those lines, can you tell me what fish this is? Does anybody have an idea what that fish is? And what's significant about it? Can anybody guess? Looks like a lion. Yeah, close. Lionfish. Exactly. Yes, a lionfish. Yeah, and they actually are, in fact, very good eating. Lionfish are delicious eating, as was the flounder I noticed before. Lionfish are invading the Caribbean right now. They are not native to the Caribbean, and they're causing tremendous problems with the coral reefs there. The lionfish are coming in and devastating some of the local fish populations in the coral reef. So there's a lot of groups and organizations out there trying to eradicate the lionfish populations. Unfortunately, though, some of the more recent research that's been going on, we found lionfish now to be at very deep depths, much deeper than recreational scuba divers can dive to. And so people have to go with the assumption that there's going to be lionfish here forever. We're not going to get rid of them. Some people say, yes, home place. Some people say that they escaped from an aquarium. Some people actually believe it was some private guy with a saltwater tank that had them in his tank, and then, you know, either during a hurricane or on his own reconnaissance, some guy just let them go. It also could be that they were picked up on a ship. A lot of the big tanker ships use water as a ballast, so it could have been sucked up into the tank of a container ship as it sailed from point A to point B and then dispersed, much like the clams that we now have in the Great Lakes. Those were relocated by virtue of a container ship that introduced them. Okay, who knows what this fish is? This is a fun fish. By the way, a side note to the lionfish, they're very good eating. A lot of chefs in the Caribbean, Florida, and that area are developing all kinds of recipes for them, and they do very well. They eat very well. And a little interesting side, yes, home place, tuna, absolutely, yes. What kind of yellowfin? Grayman, very good. Yes, that's a yellowfin tuna, as you can see by those yellow fins on its top and bottom. Extremely good eating fish. Extremely good eating fish. And right now, the yellowfin tuna there's plenty of them. However, if you guys ever watch on TV and you see those guys catching the giant tuna off of Martha's Vineyard out in New England, those fish are, in fact, getting to be devastated. Their numbers are way down. And so they're closely regulating them. Whereas this fish, which is yellowfin tuna, there's just plenty of them, and they're extremely good eating. You also might know them by the term ahi tuna. They're one of the tunas that are most sought after for sushi and that kind of stuff. Oh, good eating fish. Okay, how about this guy? Anybody know what this guy is? I relocate my fish down to John. Yeah, Judy, a lot of people do that, unfortunately. Anyhow, who can recognize this guy here? He's a fun fish. He's a very fun fish. No, he is not a barracuda, although he looks a lot like it, not a pike. He's a saltwater fish. Not a barracuda. Wahoo, there you go. I'm not even going to, Taigo Nacimiento, I guess. Yes, that is a wahoo. And last time I was down the British Virgin Islands, we caught some of these very good eating fish. Plenty of them. This is a pelagic. It's out in the open ocean. Very fast fish. They swim around very quickly. But again, another very good eating fish. They also get to be pretty good size fish. Okay, we're going to transition now into something a bit more interesting. Who can tell me what this fish is? Anybody want to guess what this next fish is? Give it a second to come up. There it is. Kind of weird with a little bit of a delay here. Tiger woods. Very good. Yes, John, that's a tiger shark. And you can tell it's a tiger shark from the tiger patterns over on its side. So that's not a great white shark, Sorrente. This is a tiger shark. And this is actually, and no, it's not a five-gill. Five-gill are typically found in the Pacific Northwest in very deep locations in the ocean. This is a tiger shark. And this is one of the sharks that are most common sharks to attack people. Tiger sharks and bull sharks are responsible for more attacks on people than any other type of shark. Okay, so you guys got that shark. How about this one? Let's see if you know what this one is. Now, I'll bet you guys all get it wrong. I'll bet you guys get all this one wrong. Does it come up? No, it's not a bull shark. Yes, Rhonda got it. It's a mako shark. Yep, that's a mako shark. Very, very fast shark. Looks a lot like a great white shark. They're very good eating mako sharks, by the way. A lot of people will eat mako sharks. A lot of guys will go out and fish for them. When I grew up in New York on Long Island, we would go out fishing for mako sharks and cut them up and make steaks out of them. Okay, we're almost to the end of our fish ID. Here's an easy one for you guys. I think everybody's going to get this one. It is obviously the fish everyone recognizes because of his smile. Yeah, Bumblebee, you're correct. The bull sharks do swim upside in the rivers. Yes, Sorrente, correct. Great white. Home place, yes. Great white shark. Yep, this is Jaws. This is the shark that everyone's been told to be afraid of. And more people have been killed stung by other fish and died that way, or more people have died getting in their cars, driving someplace to go scuba diving so they can go in a cage to watch great white sharks. They are not the killer fish that's depicted in the movie Jaws. They're just aren't. They're just not that dangerous. Now, will they eat human beings? Absolutely. Have they eaten human beings? Absolutely. They mistake us for being seals, which is usually what they're targeting, and so they will get us. But a far more dangerous fish is this one. All right, Caleb, we'll see you, buddy. Have fun at Bible study. Kind of late at night for Bible study, isn't it? Sorry to see you go, man. I enjoy having you on the channel. Okay, who can tell me what this fish is? Nope, not a rockfish. Do they eat sailboats? No, they don't eat sailboats. Stonefish is close. It's not quite a stonefish, but that's very close. Only 7:30. Yeah, Beth, that's right. I forgot. It's still early on the East Coast, isn't it? Puffer? No, not a puffer, not a sponge. That is a fish, actually. It's a very dangerous fish. One of the most dangerous fish in the ocean, in fact. Got you all puzzled, huh? All right. That's a scorpion fish. And if you step on them while you're walking around in and out of the water, or if you're happy to be on the reef and you swim over some shallow reef and you come down on top of it, yes, Grayman, a scorpion fish. They are highly toxic and highly poisonous. People die from having contact with these fish. So you got to be very, very careful around them. I am much more afraid of scorpion fish than I am of great white sharks. Okay, and the last fish for our identification purposes is this one. And this is going to confuse a lot of people because there's a lot of other fish similar to it, but this one is unique. And so let's see if you guys can get this one. I will tell you, it's extremely good eating. Makes wonderful steaks. Judy, okay, Grandpa needs to stay in the cabin. Nope. Swordbill, yes, Mark is right. This is a swordfish. Not a marlin, not a wahoo, or not a marlin, not a sailfish. This is a swordfish. Yes, Sorrente, that's a swordfish. They look similar to like marlins. They look but their bill is much wider and they have a much longer fin coming off the bottom. Oh, Che Cuerva, I'm sorry. Yo hablo muy poquito español. No comprende para un post. So if you can type in English, that would be helpful. Because I don't. There's a live stream. This is a live stream for anybody that wants to watch it. Commandante Che, you're in charge of the Che Guerva. I guess that's what that's saying. I don't know, Che, but you're welcome to watch and follow along. Anyhow, yeah, that is a swordfish. Extremely good eating. These guys are interesting. You fish for these guys in 1,000 feet of water. You actually drop your bait all the way down into the dark. So it's, I can type in English. Good, Che, thank you. That's much easier for me. Anyhow, so while you guys are looking at all this seafood, the reason why I brought it up, I wanted to let you guys know that there's this app you can get on your cell phone. Yes, an app you can get on your cell phone, and it's put out by the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and it's a seafood watch app. Now, what this does is you can put the app on your phone. You can tell it that you want to have seafood for dinner, and it'll tell you which fish are sustainable and which fish are not sustainable for where you live. And so I would just going to suggest that you guys might want to look this up. Again, it's the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. It's an app you can do on your phone for iOS or Android, and it'll tell you a lot about what fishes are sustainable to eat. And that way you can use your spending dollars to help moderate what is and what is not going on as far as what fish are being fished for. If nobody was going to buy them, there certainly wouldn't be any market for them. And some of the fish like the orange roughy and marlin and swordfish, some of these things, they just, well, not swordfish, but sailfish, they just shouldn't be fished out anymore. They've been getting hit too hard. They need to relax a little bit. Okay. Don't sound like delivery. Okay. Fidel lives on through all Cubans. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Okay, let's see. Anybody have a comment there? Okay, so no questions for me. If you're going to ask me a question, please put it in all caps. That makes it easier for me if you put things in all caps. But so I wanted to tell you, do that little test to see how much you guys know about which fish there are, and it's not at all surprising to me, because most people don't have a clue one fish to the next. I mean, you guys are accustomed to seeing some white meat breaded sitting next to some butter and lemon, and it's hard to know one from the other. But the fact is, there's thousands of different fish in the ocean, and a lot of them do taste different. So, what's my scariest sailing story? John, my scariest sailing story. Okay, well, I'll give you my personal one that happened to me. And by the way, Beth Lily is fine. You can probably hear her snoring in the background. I was down the British Virgin Islands. We were out on a sailboat, and we were off in 1,000 feet of water, more than 1,000 feet of water. And all of a sudden, my depth finder started telling me I was in 50 feet of water, and then 40 feet of water, and 30 feet of water. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to run aground on some unmarked reef out here in the middle of nowhere. So I immediately grabbed the controls and started slowing the boat down. And then it was 30 feet of water and 20 feet of water and 10 feet of water. And I was like, holy crap, I'm going to have to. So I tried to actually stop the boat. And then it dropped back down. Then it was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and on and on and on. So I was like, well, what in the hell was that? And with that, just as soon as I was saying that, a whale jumped out of the water, not more than 10 feet off of my port hull, and jumped up, came up out of the water, turned, classic whale breach, hitting the water next to us, drenched everybody on the boat, and fell back into the water right next to the front of the boat. And I could actually made eye contact with the whale. I could see the whale looking at me, and he could see me looking back at him. And that, frankly, really kind of scared me that he would breach and come out of the water that close to me while we were out sailing. So my biggest concern while out sailing is that I would have a whale come up and hit my rudder and break my rudder and cause my boat to leak. But yeah, that's my scariest sailing story, was having that. What I thought was going to run aground, and it turned out being a whale. What was happening is my depth sounder was pinging off the back of the whale as the whale was swimming up closer and closer to the underside of the boat. So it was, anyhow, that's what happened to me. Sorrente, yes, I've caught a lot of lobsters, caught a lot of crab. Not necessarily king crab, but I have caught a lot of lobsters and a lot of crab. Loves shellfish. I'm a big fan of shrimp and crab and lobster. So I do all those things. I actually would prefer shrimp. When I lived in Bahrain, I don't know if you guys know this, but I graduated high school in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf. And I always thought that the Arabs over there were crazy, because they would go out with trawlers out in the Gulf, and they would catch these phenomenal shrimp. I mean, just these huge mondo shrimp that they would catch in the Arabian Gulf there, the Persian Gulf. And then they would take these shrimp and put them on a hook and try to use them to catch fish. And I thought to myself, why are you taking this perfectly great tasting shrimp and using it to catch this really oily, nasty tasting fish? So, but ever since then, I've always been a huge, huge fan of shrimp. I could eat shrimp all day long, every day. In fact, I probably have 20 pounds of frozen shrimp in my freezer right now. I love taking some shrimp, sauteing them in a little bit of butter and putting them on some linguine, doing a little linguine garlic and oil with some shrimp parmesan on top. Great dinner. Great dinner. Yes, Beth, I have seen a whales breach next to kayaks in Puget Sound. I've seen that. More of a concern is the killer whales around them. Yeah, John, we were offshore south of all the BVI. Actually, we were probably a couple miles south of Norman Island at the time. So, okay, let's see. You guys are kind of teasing them. Hey, Che, where are you from? Are you Cuban originally, and where do you live now? And I assume that's not your real name, because if I remember correctly, Che Guevara was one of the people that fought alongside with Fidel. He was one of the leaders in the revolution, wasn't he? I don't know. I'm thinking that's what I remember, but I may be. You're Cuban, okay? Do you live in Cuba? Or are you a Floridian or an American Cuban? I actually am. Cool. Okay, cool. Very cool. I'm not actually Che. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's okay. Was I right about that? Was Che Guevara one of the revolutionaries? Came from Mexico to help Fidel. Okay. Thanks, Beth. Good to know. I was in a boat in the ocean once and I forgot to fill the outboard with gas. Luckily, trolling motor on that was charged. You know, you talk about that, Sorrente. I grew up as a kid. You do currently live in Cuba. Oh, that's great, Che. Cool. Well, welcome to our channel. I'm glad you're here. I grew up in New York on Long Island in New York, and I used to have a little 16-foot MFG speedboat with a 40-horse Merc. Now, this was a 1962 speedboat with a 1958 Mercury outboard on the back. And at the time, I used to run out to the canyon. I would head into the sunrise on a given day and motor out straight out for at least an hour. And I'm doing 40 miles an hour. So I'm 40 miles offshore, off the coast of Long Island. And I would go out there and go shark and tuna fishing all day. And then, you know, I would wait till it got into the evening and I would turn around and head back for where the sun was setting. And that would usually bring me back pretty close to where I had to go. As a kid, I remember doing that all the time growing up. Now, the idea of it just scares the hell out of me. So it's really interesting how things change, how our perspective changes sometimes. Moose are dangerous. Yeah, moose are dangerous. Moose are always in a bad mood. Che was from Argentina, not Mexico. Okay. We're completely unpredictable. Yes, we are. You never know what you're going to end up seeing and doing on my live stream. So just let that be a lesson to you. And while we're on this topic, I would like for you guys to post some comments in here, and I'm going to try to write them down without shaking the table too much. What topics would you guys like to cover? I'd like me to cover. What stuff would you like to have discussed? And while you guys are thinking that, entering that answer, I'm going to comment here to Che for a minute. Che, I would love to sail over to Havana. I used to have a real estate office in Marathon Key, Florida, and I always wanted to take a sailboat over there. Now that our relations are restored, I'm really looking forward to sailing there on my own boat. Oh, Rhonda, you're going to write down their thoughts? That would be great if you could do that. That way I'm not shaking the table. Excellent. I was saying moose and gators are completely unpredictable. Yes, Grizz, they are. And both of them are equally always in a bad mood. I've never known a gator to be in a good mood. I've never known a moose to be in a good mood. How to buy property. Okay, home place, that's an idea. How to buy property. Okay. All right, Rhonda is going to write that down. What's your sailing YouTube channel and why? What's my sailing YouTube channel and why? My sailing channel is this one. This Grandpa's Farm Gone Sailing is going to be my sailing channel. The name may evolve some, like I may put SRV at the front of it. For those of you that don't know, you've probably seen SV on boat, sailing vessel, or HMS, Her Majesty's ship, that kind of stuff. SRV means sailing research vessel. So, what is my favorite sailing channel? Okay. I was actually going to get to that here in a bit. So let's table that for a minute, John, and I will get back to that. Because that's actually on my agenda today. I've got some shout-outs for some favorite channels that I have. Should I buy land from a bank or from a private seller? Okay, Sorrente, we can deal with that. How to deal with medical care when sailing in foreign countries. Okay, Beth, we can talk about that. Comparative memory glands of topless women around the world. Now, Mark, there is a study that I could get really digitally involved with. Never mind. Caleb's not here anymore, so I guess we're all adults at this point. Austin, you know, you're absolutely right. But my biggest concern is that Cuba is going to get sucked in to become nothing more than another one of the Florida Keys with cheap labor. Obviously, they're going to go through a huge metamorphosis here very quickly as U.S. dollars start flowing into that country. But you know, their median income is going to skyrocket very quickly here. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. I put that a PC as possible. Yeah, well, but that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, and Mark, yeah, I agree. I plan on making a very in-depth study of the human anatomy. Unfortunately, when you're out sailing, especially in the tropical weather, ladies tend to like to display said goods. So, and being that I'm male, I mean they show them, so we'll look at them. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and we'll look at them because they want to show them, and that's what makes the world go round. It absolutely does, and I'm sorry if anybody here watching gets offended by that, but that's the reality of life. Sailing to North Korea? Oh, hell no. No, not going to sail anywhere near North Korea. I would sail to South Korea, and I would sail up into China, but I would skip going around North Korea. Those people are they're fucking nuts. They're absolutely fucking nuts. Swedish-owned hotels that are not as if they are not somewhat in the 21st century. Yeah, Beth, but it's very limited what's going on in Cuba. Very, very limited, and a lot of restrictions on what they can and can't do. It was a mermaid, and the seashells popped off. Uh-huh. Okay, so if you guys don't have any other suggestions for us for future events, let me kind of get into one of the other things I want to talk about today. This time of year up here in Alaska, there's not a lot I can talk about as far as cruising or sailing or homesteading, which is the topic that I was doing a lot of videos about. I've been trying to put up content on an ongoing regular basis, and I'm going to continue trying to do that, but I don't want people freaking out if you start seeing me post less often. Just not a lot of good topics that related to those fields right now. I'm getting very involved in taking an item, taking a photograph of it, putting it on Craigslist and selling it. I sold 2 items today, and I'm really just trying to get rid of everything that I have so that I could just get down to the items I want to take sailing with me and have nothing else left. So we shall see how it goes. Judy, no, I have not gotten Lily neutered yet. I want to. She just finished her period, and I'm going to give it a month and then have that done. I want her to get her plumbing back in order and in shape, and then we'll do that. And that's what my veteran recommended. So, but that'll be coming very soon. And no, she's not in heat anymore. She stopped bleeding. She's not in heat. But I want to wait until, well, ideally it would be around Christmas time, and then it'll be New Year's, so I'm probably going to wait till somewhere around the middle of January and then have her done at that time. Suggestion, what do you go through between different countries' waters? Okay, Mark, Rhonda, write that down, checking in and checking out of each country. I assume that's what you're talking about, Mark? What is the storage weight limit for your boat? Another good question. Rhonda, put that down. Talk about storage on the boat. Going waterworldly? Yes, we are definitely going waterworldly. In case you haven't been aware, home place, I am selling the farm up here in Alaska. Looks like the divorce is going to happen here fairly soon. And then I'll be heading out. I'll be buying a sailboat and heading around the world. Could you explain how peonies are a cash crop on the farm? Yeah, Cheryl, I can do that right now. Let me touch base on that very quickly. Peonies up here in Alaska come to bloom at a time of year that happens no place else in the world. Alaska is the only place in the world, for some reason, that has peonies that are blooming in that July-August time frame. Something about our ecosystem here enables that. And as you're well aware, most women like to get married in the summertime, spring, but a lot of them go July and August because all the best places are booked up in June. So for those women that want to get married in July and August, and you have to understand that peony is the number 2 flower behind the rose for brides to have at their weddings. So peonies are very sought after. So I can plant a peony plant here on my property, and it takes 3 to 5 years for it to develop and become a good, strong plant. Once that plant's 5 years old, I can harvest up to 10 buds off of it and still leave a good, healthy plant going into next year. those buds are worth $6 a piece. I can sell them retail direct from my farm to brides all over America at $6 a piece. So if I have 5,000 peonies growing on my property, I could be looking at, you know, a gross of $300,000 a year from 5,000 peonies by growing them, harvesting them, and selling them off. And peonies is pretty much a summer business only. You know, we put fertilizer and stuff down in the spring, do a little weeding during the summer, and then we go through harvest them in that July, August time frame. And then, you know, after that, we mow them off in the fall, and we don't do anything again until the spring. So it's a lucrative business up here, and so that's what I'm selling the property as, is a peony farm. I do have 500 roots in the ground already, and so a lot of people here seem to like that. Yes, Judy, flower shops do love people from Alaska. In fact, I get calls on a regular basis from people looking for buds from me. The people growing flowers up here in Alaska, we can't keep up with demand. With all the different people now growing peonies up here, we're nowhere near. Some of the co-ops up here have actually had orders come in for over 100,000 stems. We don't have enough people growing to have that kind of production. So we'll get there, but not right now. Or I won't get there. Whoever buys this farm can get there. But it's a booming market. So is that why we always had them then at the shop? I don't know, Judy. Did you always have peonies at the shop? They're a big seller, so I imagine you would want to have them. And if you had them there in July and August, they probably came from Alaska. Show us the gear you're getting for the boat. Okay, Rhonda, make a note of that we're going to talk about boat gear, because there's a lot that we can talk about that. Planted 1,500 crocus in her. Yeah, well, 1,500 crocus are nice. They're beautiful and all that, but you can't sell them. So I grow anthills. Old Alabama and Carl thought it would be interesting. I must have, oh, how did Grizz manage to get a wrench? Oh, hey, Alabama Gardener. I just thought it would be fun to give him a wrench and see if he could knock himself out with it. It did not cost him a lot of money. I just like to keep people guessing on here. I think it's fun. Grandpa's idea, triple reverse psychology. Oh, Mark, you know me too well, my friend. You know me too well. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that I may be reducing my video quantity. I am pretty much out of old sailing, cruising stuff. I still have some Travelers in Paradise stuff I can put up, but I'm pretty much out. And until I get myself out of here and onto a boat, I can't be doing much more in that content. I will be uploading stuff from here, what I can, but right now I'm in the shit and get mode. I'm trying to get everything out of here. And there's nothing pleasant or remarkable or anything in that I really even want to have rememberable. The idea is to get out of here as fast as I can and get on a boat. And right now I'm thinking I'll be going down to Mexico and buying a boat there and heading off. And so if anybody wants to become a crew member for a YouTube sailing fanatic, then contact me and we'll go from there. Bathtub spearfishing goldfish videos. Okay, we can do that. I do a lot of spearfishing. How good is your knot tying? I'm very good at tying knots. Well, Beth, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't know how sexy I am, but I am certainly making progress. I am in a great mood. I'm in a great mentality, great mindset right now. Really positive and moving forward. Taking all the negative words and thoughts out of my brain, out of my conversation, and everything is going in a really good direction right now. So if you remember following my channel months ago, it was a whole different story. I'm really in a great mood now. But okay, so with that said, and since we're quickly running out of time here, I wanted to do some shout outs. Somebody asked what are some of my favorite channels, my favorite sailing channels. And so I've got a bunch of them, and I can't obviously put all of them out here at one time. So I'm going to start out with a few and work up from there, if that's okay with you guys. So I'm going to start off with some folks. Now, this couple I'm going to show you here. This is a young guy and a young girl. He worked in the mines, worked very hard in the mines, saved every penny, and put together enough money to buy himself a pretty nice boat, a Beneteau. Not a great boat, but a pretty nice boat. And asked his girlfriend to jump on board the boat with him and sail around the world. And they've started doing that, and they started making videos about it. And the name of that channel is Sailing La Vagabond. They have quickly become the #1 YouTube creation channel. And I'm sorry the picture quality is so bad, but just what it is. This is Sailing La Vagabond. Anyhow, it's this young couple sailing around the world on a sailboat. They're really a great couple. They've gotten to be very popular. So much so, in fact, that one of the manufacturers of the catamaran sailboats, Outreamer, is actually building them their own sailboat, which they're going to let them use for a year. Now, this company is going to give this couple $1 million sailboat to sail in for a year just to create content for their YouTube channel. And if that doesn't speak volumes about the power of what's going on in YouTube land, and nothing else good. Rhonda, I see you got Sailing a Vagabond. Maybe you could put a link to their channel up. And they know the value of boobs in the thumbnail. Yeah, she's not so bad as a lot of them, Mark. A lot of these cruising people really, are all about boobalicious shots. I find Elay, which is her name, Elena, to be much more classier than that as a general rule, although certainly is quite enough pannings of up and down her body. And yes, Rhonda is correct. What you're thinking about, Mark, is SV Delos, which is a boat I was going to bring up another day. They can tend to be a bit raunchy and stuff. Too much clickbait. Sorrente, who are you referring to as too much clickbait? Delos or La Vagabond? I mean, all channels have a little bit of that. What are you naming your boat? Home place, that's a great question. I don't know. Right now, I'm thinking of naming it SRV Grandpa's Farm, only because I'm not aware of any boat out there anywhere that, yes, SV Delos has a lot of clickbait. I'm not aware of any boat out there named Grandpa's Farm. And, I'm selling the farm to buy the boat. And at some point down the road, I will probably sell the boat and buy a farm. So, SRV, Sailing Research Vessel, Grandpa's Farm, seems like it might be the logical step. So, other than that, I'm really not sure how it should go. But anyhow, this couple here on Sailing La Vagabond are some really nice folks. They do a great job with their channel. They produce some pretty interesting, funny videos. So you might want to check it out. Hello, Carlos. Okay, another cruising channel that I like is Catamaran Impy, IMPI. This is a Australian couple. Actually, come to think of it, so is La Vagabond. They're both Australian couple. So far, these guys have only sailed around Australia, but they are sailing around in my favorite boat, which is a Lagoon 440. SRV Memory Explorer. Yeah, maybe. Maybe when I get my catamaran, I'll change it to that name, Mark. That might work for it, considering it'll have 2 holes. But yeah, these guys are sailing around in a boat that is, to me, the quintessential boat that I would like to have to sail around the world. And it is a Lagoon 440. And this couple at Catamaran Impy, they do a really good job with their channel. They put together a lot of this nice stuff. Most recently, they were sailing in, I want to say New Caledonia, but that's not correct. Oh, damn. Anyhow, they were sailing in some of the small islands off the coast of Australia, and just some beautiful islands over there. Just some really gorgeous islands. Very private, really nice beaches. You had the place all to yourself. So anyhow, I like them, but I like them because of the boat. And they're on this boat called a Lagoon 440, And here's a picture of a Lagoon 440. It is a catamaran, which means it has 2 holes as opposed to a monohull. And the one I would want is what's known as the owner's version, which means the port hole. In other words, the one closest to you in this picture would just have 1 cabin. It would have the bedroom to the back, a sitting area, and a bathroom to the front. And on the starboard hull, or in this case the far hull, there would be 2 cabins and 2 bathrooms over there. The middle section that you see raised in the glass, that's where the kitchen and dining area and living room basically are. There's a big seating area around the back, plus seating up on top to drive the boat in the cockpit. And then there's a small seating area out front. That boat's 44 feet long and 24 feet wide. And right now, I can buy a decent used one for $500,000, but I don't have $500,000. So I'm going to spend 1/10 of that and be able to do what I want to do. Maybe get a research grant to find out the best SPF for bobbers. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep. Certainly into doing all of the hard data collection to work on that grant. I could do that. Anyhow, that's a Lagoon 440. That is without a doubt my favorite sailboat. If I had the money, that is the boat I would buy right now. I have chartered that boat down in the Caribbean, in the British Virgin Islands. I've chartered that boat a couple of times. I've chartered a 42-foot version of that boat. I have friends of mine that have a 30, or had, they recently sold, they had a 39-foot version of that boat. Any of those would work for me, although I really kind of like the Lagoon 440. Easy to get in and out of. It's just a great platform for what I plan on doing. So I thought you guys would find that interesting. So I don't remember who it was who asked me what channels I liked, or what cruising channels I liked, but anyhow, that's a couple of them. Catamaran Impy and Sailing La Vagabond are my 2 for today. I've got some people that subscribed to me recently called Sailing SV Scuba Ninja. So far, they only have 1 video out, so I haven't put them up yet. I want to see more about what they're going to be putting up. They just bought their own boat, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm intrigued with them because they actually have scuba in the name. One of the things I've noticed in this genre, in the whole cruising, sailing stuff, you guys may remember Jacques Cousteau from back in the 60s, even into the 70s. Here we are, 2016. We're 36, almost 40 years later, and there's nobody putting out that kind of content anymore. Nobody doing the scuba diving, investigating, research kind of stuff that's making it interesting, and as it was. I mean, everybody used to sit around the TV and watch the undersea world of Jacques Cousteau. Man, that and Disney on a Sunday night is had the whole world's attention. I remember walking through my neighborhood, and you could tell what time it got to be on a Sunday night because everybody was in watching their TVs. So, anyhow, I missed the last site name. Sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, Rhonda. I like Gone with the Winds. Yes, Grayman, Gone with the Winds is another great one. I was saving them for later. I didn't want to do too many all at once. Gone with the Winds is without a doubt a very good channel. There's a bunch of them. Follow the Boat is another great one. There's just a bunch of them. It just depends on what you like. There's a lot of them. One of the things I do find interesting here, though, is that in almost every instance, these guys are all similar, doing the same kind of thing. I see everybody buying a sailboat and sailing around the world, and it's the story of them fixing this and the story of them fixing that, and having this party with these people and having cocktails on their boat and beautiful sunrise and sunsets. And what I don't see is anybody really talking about conservation or talking about the ocean. Or I'm amazed at how many people are out on sailboats sailing around the world that don't know how to fish, that have no clue of how to fish, and are always amazed that they caught something. It just depends on who you're working with, but all these various shuns that I've looked at, I don't see any of them being really successful at fishing. So, okay. Judy is saying Robert Redford movie All Lost scared the hell out of me. You know, Judy, you just can't watch these movies and be afraid of stuff. You're going to find on my show, and this I think is something you're going to find pretty interesting. At least I'm hoping so. You're going to find the channel that I'm going to be doing devoid of drama. Recently, there's another shout out to another channel. Rick Moore is a guy who is a cinematographer, videographer, photographer, or whatever. He lives down in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Martin. He spends a lot of time in that area. He's aboard a sailboat called Sophisticated Lady. He's been doing cruising kind of vlogs for a very, very long time now, like 5-6 years. And he recently just had a girl come on board that was doing her own channel with her boyfriend, and their show was all drama. It was fights, and he knocked her out, and he had drinking problems and PTSD and all this drama stuff that was going on. And I was surprised to see the comments from all the people once she just recently joined Rick's boat. And I was surprised at how many people commented on Rick's videos warning him about her being such a drama queen. And I'm always amazed at how much drama there is out there. I just want to get away from all that. Tawana Lynn, thank you very much, dear. I really do appreciate that. I will tell you, I don't miss the Homestead Network at all. I am just hearing more and more problems about people, and I've heard so many horror stories about the way people are being treated by some of the creators that are involved with that. I'm just glad to be away from it. So I hope you'll stay and follow along and see where my channel goes. We're heading in some interesting directions, so I think you'll find it pretty interesting to me. Oh, the movie scared your husband and not you. Yeah, well, it's just like so many people watch these movies, like watching Jaws, they watch Jaws and they get scared to death, or, The Deep, and now everyone's swimming inside a coral of a shipwreck expecting giant moray eels to jump out and grab them. And it's just not like that, folks, Walking around up here in the woods in Alaska, there's not grizzly bears behind every tree waiting to jump out and grab me. That's just the way life is. It's not really like that. All right, Mark, I'll give a shout out to Mark. Mark has a channel called Bumblebee Junction, and he does some, interesting videos about his activities in kind of farming and vegetable planting and bamboo planting and stuff from his place. So give Mark a shout out. You might want to check him out if you're interested in how to plant garlic. Recently, he planted garlic, and he recently planted some bamboo and onions, and it's kind of interesting stuff. Well, Tawana, I'm sorry you missed me. You don't have to miss me. I'm still generating content. I'm just not generating that content. In fact is, Tawana, I can't generate homesteading content up here in Alaska in the wintertime. There's nothing to talk about. Everything's frozen and covered in snow. You're welcome, Mark. No problem, buddy. I still enjoy the channels on the Homestead Networks. Well, Grizz, I'm glad you do. There's a couple of 3 of them that I find interesting and that are putting out decent, honest content. There's a lot of them I don't want anything to do with. So, still waiting for Jacqueline Bisset to jump out and grab me. Yes, Austin. Jacqueline Bisset, that movie, The Deep, that was all about that shirt shot, wasn't it? Yeah, one of the great scenes in movie history. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, you'll just have to get a copy of The Deep and watch it. So, interesting story. Anyhow, guys, that's kind of it for today. I did my shout outs and I got all the things done on my list. I'm glad you guys got some of the fish correct. I was sort of disappointed on some of them, and I was going easy fish. That was all the easy fish. There is an organization called reef.org, REEF.org. I don't know if Rhonda can type that in here. I will. You can check them out. This is a great organization that does fish counts. They survey the reefs and stuff. And as a citizen scientist, I can join in and I can go out and go scuba diving in a particular reef. I can do a fish count and report my findings back to them, and they're maintaining this huge database. But they have some interesting things on there. If you go into their resources tab on their page, and by the way, being a member of Reef is free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can go into their resource section and take quizzes where it'll bring up a picture of a fish and it'll give you multiple choice questions. Like there'll be 5 questions there. You can say, well, this is that fish or this is this fish. And it's a great training opportunity to learn all the different types of fishes. You can do it specifically for an area, like you can do Caribbean fish. You can do Indo-Pacific fish. You can do Pacific Northwest fish. They have them set up for different areas. So I find it pretty interesting. You guys might want to check that out if you have an interest in that area. So, okay, why are my comments repeating? I don't know, Judy. Blow up snowman. Okay. Gabby, I think our text is haunted. Hey, Grizz has been very well behaved this evening. I think he carried his wrench with honor and did a great job with it. So I really appreciate that, Grizz. Going to ruin his record now because he's not going to get bumped, but it is what it is. So anyhow, guys, and if you got something else that you want to discuss, I'm open to discussing. If you have any questions, now would be the time to post some questions and we can delve into those. SRV Snowman in Paradise. Yeah, Mark, I want to get out away from the Paradise name. After having done the Travelers in Paradise show, it now brings up some negative memories from me. I want to divorce myself. I am divorcing myself of. So, if you can understand that. Okay, nobody's got any questions for me? You want me to remove your wrench? All right. I can do that. No, I can't. There. I'll put you in timeout anyway. There you go, Grizz. Can't take your wrench away right now. I have to log out and log back into a different part of the channel here, but I put you in timeout anyway, so you don't feel bad. I do find me an affordable homester. Homestead? Is that what you're trying to say? Homestead? Judy, we can do that. I know I just timed them out. That's all I can do right now, Rhonda. I can't remove the wrench until I jump out of the live stream and go back into my management folder to do that. So I can make him a moderator live. I can't unmake him live. So I do find me an affordable homestead. How do you find is that what you're asking, Judy? How do you find yourself an affordable homestead? Cheryl, it's very warm outside right now. It's about 11 degrees. 11, 12, 13. Actually, I think we may even be warmer than that. No, it's 8 degrees right now. It is a nice warm 8 degrees outside, which is a whole lot better than the minus 11 we had the other morning. So 8 degrees is just fine. No, yes. Okay, so you want to know about how to find an affordable homestead. And you had asked before somewhat about owner financing or not owner financing. There's another channel in the homestead genre that is a woman that doesn't have a clue about real estate, who keeps trying to tell people that they should deal with owner financing and that there's some benefits to owner financing. As a realtor with 30 years experience, and I put together a lot of owner finance deals. Don't get me wrong. I make the same money whether it's owner finance or bank finance. I get paid the same. But here's the thing with owner financing. Typically when people do owner financing, the rule of thumb is if you're going to ask the seller to carry the note, you can't beat up the seller on the price. You give him his price, he'll be more apt to carry back the financing. So that puts you in a negative already because now you're paying more for the property than you probably needed to. Secondly, owner financing typically carries a much higher interest rate than a bank financing program would. As an example, I just put together an owner financing deal that's closing next week. Guy's charging 5.5% interest. Current market interest right now is like 3%. So this guy's buying it for almost twice the interest because he wanted owner finance instead of going to the bank and having to deal with the banks. I understand the banks are a problem and can be problematic, but going to owner financing, you're paying more than you needed to, and you're paying a higher interest rate. Okay, owner financing tends to have very short terms. In other words, they might do a 25 or 30-year amortization, which will allow your payment level to be low. But then they're going to want a 5-year balloon, which means at the end of 5 years, you have to have the thing paid off. You either have to refinance it, which means you're going to have to go through all the expenses again of doing title work and what have you to get it refinanced. So it can have its problems in doing owner financing. It is not always the best way to go. In fact, it's been my experience that it's usually the people that are interested in doing owner financing are usually people that have property that they can't sell any other way. Maybe there's some defect in the property that would preclude them from being able to sell it through a bank, in which case if they owner finance it, they can sell it to you. Now you've bought it, and guess what? You've inherited those problems that will not enable that property to be sold through a bank in the future. So it can be an issue. We have cash, but still ain't helping. Yeah, she's a bit out there. Do banks still finance land without improvements? Banks do. It depends on the bank, home place. Try to stay locally, local credit unions or local savings bank. Don't go to the nationals. You don't want to be dealing with, Wells Fargo or any of the big national banks. Find your local county bank, your local credit union. Those guys are going to be much more likely to be able to put together a program for you. Or better yet, find a local mortgage broker. Don't go to the bank or the credit union. Find a mortgage broker. There are people that just represent people like you. They shop your purchasing ability around through a number of different vehicles, and they'll have a menu of different mortgages that they can work out for you. And they'll usually put you into the best one. Now, it may in fact be a local bank, may be the best one. But they tend not to charge for that service, and I find them to be very handy. So you might want to talk to a local mortgage broker. He can oftentimes put you in. You have to understand how mortgages work. Just because you go and borrow money from a particular bank doesn't mean that you owe that money to that bank. That bank's going to take your mortgage and a bunch of other mortgages. It's going to package those together and sell them on the secondary market to long-term investors. That's how the mortgage market works. So that frees up the bank's cash then, so they can loan money to the next person. And then they'll put all those people together into a deal and sell that deal on the secondary market. So just realize that the bank's job is just turning over. They just want to put together new deals, new deals, new deals. They make money, all the fees that the bank charges, they're making all that money on the transaction, not on collecting the money and the interest. They don't collect the interest. They're going to package that and sell it on the secondary market. They're going to sell that to Ginnie Mae and Freddie Mac and all those big mortgages, the national mortgage corporations. So Carl knows about a good survey, Mark. Did Mark have a question about a survey? Home place surveys are worth the money anyway. Good surveys make good neighbors. Yes, good surveys make good neighbors as long as both neighbors understand where the survey really is, and you don't have a neighbor like mine who goes behind the surveyor and pulls his stakes out of the ground and throws them because he doesn't agree with it. Fences make for good neighbors. Well-defended fences make for good neighbors. You're welcome, Grizz. Okay, I want my husband to talk to you. Can you talk to him on the phone before you raise the sales about finding land or him on land if you're still sitting here? Yeah, Gabby, Judy, message me and I will respond to your message with my phone number so you guys can give me a call. No problem. I'd be happy to help you out any way I can. 17ebook.company. Okay, Che, we as a general rule on here, we don't use this forum as a means for promoting stuff like that. So I'm gonna bump you just because we don't normally do that kind of stuff. So if you want to stay on here and chat and participate, that's fine. But this is not an open forum. This is my forum for my topic, and not just an open forum for you to promote whatever it is you're promoting. I don't mind you doing one or two, and I didn't correct it before, neither did my moderators, but just so you know, that's kind of the rules on here. So you're welcome to be here and participate. That's fine. 12-foot razor wire with a 100-foot minefield makes for good neighbors. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Beef or pork for my tacos. Yeah, there you go, Tawana. That's okay, Che. Not a problem. That I wasn't trying to be upset with you. Just giving you a heads up. You know, the problem is, you know, I don't know you well enough to know what you're putting up or who you're doing or what you're doing. So we just don't do that. But it's all good. It's all good. All right. Does anybody else have a question for me they need me to answer? And just for those of you that are new and are wondering why I'm talking about real estate, I am a real estate broker. I've sold real estate in the state of New York, where I first got my real estate license back in the early 80s. I've sold real estate in New York, Ohio, Montana, state of Washington, state of Florida, and the state of Alaska. So I pretty well know what real estate laws are coast to coast, but there are some nuances in different areas. So if you have questions regarding real estate and you want to kind of get a behind the scenes opportunity to talk to a realtor who's going to give you the straight poop on it, then there you go. And unless someone else has got another question for me, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug here. I got to take the dog out for a walk and get ready to hit the hay here. So give you guys a minute because I know we're dealing with about a 20-second delay. And if you have a question, that's fine. I'll be happy to stay here and answer questions. What is in the plastic tub over your right shoulder? This plastic tub here, soap. Actually, what's in that is what's left of our goat milk soap. My wife and I up here in Alaska had a goat dairy as part of some of the stuff we were doing, and we made and marketed soap under the name of the Alaska Yard and Goat Company. We used to sell a lot of soap here. The tourists loved buying our goat milk soaps. So, Mark has a question. Okay, B, what is in the yeah, I answered that. What's in the plastic tub? I'm looking for land, cheap, of course, so looking for insider info. Yeah, home place, you know, cheap land is just that. You know, if it's cheap, there's something wrong with it. You know, here's the thing about real estate. Every piece of real estate is unique. There's no two pieces of real estate at all alike. Even if you're in a subdivision with two houses, identical houses side by side, they're different because a piece of land is different. So it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do. You have to be more specific. Tell me more about what you're looking for. And again, if you want, put that in, comment to me or message me, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Call me on the phone. We can have a long conversation about it. You have a very good channel, sir. Can you please give me some feedback as a fast-growing channel? Thanks. As a fast-growing channel. Okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, sir, but I do like your theme, the DIY science. That is a great theme there, Avid, I assume that is. I very much am a DIY science kind of person. I believe in citizen science and data collection, and so I would be interested to see what you're doing. I don't know that I'm a fast-growing channel. In fact, I'm a no-growing channel recently. I was growing very quickly when I was putting up a lot of content in the homesteading genre, talking about farming here in Alaska and putting that kind of content up. But that's really not my passion. My passion is to go selling around the world and do citizen science projects. And so since I've decided to stay true to my passion and change my direction, I've actually lost a lot of subscribers. I'm down from what I was at by quite a margin. But you know, that's fine. I expected that changing genres. So how far down my channel will fall, I don't know yet. If I get out of this with 1,000 subscribers and can start moving into the homestead or the sailing, cruising, citizen science genre, which I think I'll be the only one in that genre. There's a lot of people out there in the cruising, sailing stuff, but I'm going to be the only one out there in the cruising, sailing, and research data collection kind of stuff, which is more of that, you know, Jacques Cousteau kind of content, which is what I'm more geared to wanting to do. Just have to connect with a new audience, Grandpa. And I am home place. I am. There's folks on here that are new. I'm picking up new subscribers all the time, and that people have more interest in that area, and so it's building. I'm actually losing. I'm actually losing a lot of subscribers. It's just that I have a lot of new subscribers coming in, and so they're washing each other out, so to speak. I am somewhat going down but I'm going down very little. I mean, you know, like I was at 1380 and I'm at 1350. So I'm at a negative about 30 subscribers, but I've really lost 400 or 500 subscribers, and I've had that many more come back in, or almost that many. So I passed you up on subscribers. I'm sorry, home place, didn't mean to do that. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. I'm sorry that I passed you up, but hey, you know, just keep cranking out good content. That's what it all boils down to, is just cranking out good content. And Judy, I'm glad that you're here to stay. It's going to be interesting going forward. Che, what's the weather like for you right now? Che, it is cloudy, overcast, and 8 degrees Fahrenheit here in Willow, Alaska. Yes, 8 degrees. 2 days ago, it was minus 11. And in fact, my 10-day forecast has, I've got about 6 or 7 days where we're going to be in the minus 20s coming in. So it's going to get pretty cold here for a bit. As Rhonda just put on there, my show is every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. for me up here in Alaska. And so you're welcome to jump in and watch. And I think you'll learn more. Home place, thank you. Again, I didn't mean to step on any toes. I appreciate that you're also doing well. And please, 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 you know, stay subscribed and keep watching. And Tawana, you too. Stay subscribed and keep watching. We're going to be dealing with some interesting stuff. As soon as I get the farm here, I'm going to be loading up everything and driving down through Canada into Montana. I'm going to stop briefly in Montana at my storage units and then head on down into Mexico, buying a sailboat, selling my truck and the rest of my stuff there, trailer. And then I'll be spending the rest of the winter and maybe part of the summer in the Sea of Cortez, scuba diving and showing you what that's like. It's going to be pretty interesting. So 60 miles south of you, and it's 25. Yeah, well, Rustic, that's the difference between being next to the water. You know, you guys are closer to the ocean down there. It makes a big difference. Plus, I'm up on a bit of a hill, so I get kind of cold. I love the oceans, but I'm more of a beachcomber, and that's fine. Home place, we'll be doing a lot of beachcombing. I got to get out on land, do some walking on a regular basis, get some exercise. Plus, I'll be doing a ton of swimming. Swimming is great exercise. I can't wait till I get into some warm water and can go swimming. Che's 80s for us all week. Well, but it's kind of 80s for you all winter, isn't it, Che? I mean, that's the nice thing about the Caribbean. It gets to be about 80 to 85 degrees every day all year long. Dropping off your guns in Tennessee. No, Mark, my guns are either going to go to my son in Ohio or get put in storage in Montana for a while. Although a lot of them that I don't have any emotional attachment to, I'm just going to go ahead and sell. Just trying to get rid of stuff and raise all the money we can. You guys have to understand, I'm going from a fairly lucrative income up here in Alaska. You know, I'm going to be a little short of 6 figures this year. Just short of 6 figures. And I'm going to be going down to having to live on 0 income for the next year until my YouTube channel can get up and going. And, you know, guys, right now, my YouTube channel is making me like $50 a month. Yeah, 50 a month. I can't live on 50 a month. I need, you know, 10 times that. Would be nice. And so I really got to build my channel here pretty quickly, which is why Rhonda's been good enough to get on here and tell people about my Patreon page and what have you. And if you guys are so inclined and want to support the kind of stuff that I'm doing, please do take a look at my Patreon page. Be the first one, because nobody signed up for it yet. Somebody's going to be the first one to get in there and pledge $1 a month. I mean, that's all I'm asking, folks. If you want to support what I'm doing, get on there, do $1 a month. You know, for what you spend on coffee in 2 days would be great to see in my account for the year, you know, because that's all I'm talking about. Broker boats. No, I don't want to sell boats. I don't want to sell stuff anymore. Carl said bull. Yeah, Mark, you notice my son is listening. Yeah, right after you said you could have him, he said bull. Now, the guns that have an emotional attachment stay in the family, and he knows that. But some of the guns I have up here, I just, you know, they're just guns. They don't mean anything to me. So, Gabby, you said something came out wrong. Okay, let's see. I didn't like no show bleeds, never understood why free choice of watching on the network, just saying. I didn't like no show bleeds. Yeah, I don't understand that, Judy. You'll have to clarify that. And Tawana Lynn, you're absolutely right. I have to follow my passion, and that's what I'm working on. What currency do you take for this Patreon thing? Che, Patreon is international. You can put Cuban lira. Is that it? Lira? I don't remember what currency you use down in Cuba. But yeah, you can put that in whatever. It's international. Any currency can be used. Just go to Patreon. I think Rhonda put up a thing on here. You can click on that, and you know, just like the old artists and stuff had patrons, and this is the same thing. You know, I'm creating content and putting stuff up here for free for everybody to look at. If you want to support that, go in there and give it $1 a month or whatever, you know. Never understood no show bleed overs of time, free choice viewing, just saying. Are you referring to like the Homestead Network live streams that they never go over? They just limit themselves to their time? That's because there's usually somebody else in the Homestead Network coming on right behind them. Is that what you're referring to? Because I just talk as long as people want to talk, or until I have to go pee, whichever comes first, and or something else like that were to happen. Going to bring a Wilson. Yes, Wilson. We'll have a Wilson volleyball with me. Absolutely. My dog is most definitely going around the world with me, John. Yes, Lily will be going with me, which will limit where I can go to. There are some countries I'm not going to sail to with a dog because it'll put her life at risk. Mark, I really don't have anything left here of any real consequence. All of my really good guns I've already given to my son. Most notable of which was my Spanish AYA Royal Grade 16 gauge that he has, which was my dad's shotgun that he bought in Spain, had custom made for him by AYA in Spain many, many years ago. Lily does not have to have a passport, but I do have to have medical papers for her, a recent vet check and a current shot record, which of course she'll have. The Cuban peso. Thank you, Psycho Panda, and nice to see you here, sir. The Cuban peso. I thought the peso was the coin, and they had a different term for their paper money, or maybe I'm mistaken. Peseta, maybe? There's peso and a peseta. I don't know, Che. Weigh in here and give us an update. Let me give you your son's new updated mailing address. Psycho Panda, you're very sick. What's going on? Why are you sick? Turkish is lira. Well, the Turks use the lira. The Italians use the lira. Well, they used to before they went to the euro. I don't know. You can't keep up with all that. Oh, Grizz, I'd have no problem bringing my dog around you. It's my cat that I would have concerns about. We all know how you are with kitty, kitty, kitty. All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna. Euro is dumb. Yes, it is, Psycho. Actually, you know what I think they should do, and maybe it's just because I'm an American. I'd love to see the entire world just go to the dollar. Man, it would make life so much easier if we were all just on one currency. It just seemed like it would make a lot of sense. I know it would create absolute economic devastation amongst the world and put millions of people out of work from trading exchanges. Where I went to school in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf, they had a shopping district, what they called a souk there. And there were little men sitting in little booths with stacks of cash around them. And you would bring them your currency and they would convert it to whatever other currency you wanted converted to. So that was always pretty funny. Oh, my son, funny. Peso, okay, peso is paper money here. And so is it peso also the coin as well? I guess. Shiny beads and small mirrors. There you go, Mark. Absolutely. You know, the thing of it is, it's just like everything else. It's just, it's like prejudice. Prejudice is ridiculous. You know, I'm seeing all this research going on now with DNA, and they pretty much figured that we all basically come from two people. I mean, genetically, everybody is brought back to genetic Adam and genetic Eve. I mean, they've actually gone that far as to determine someone named genetic Adam and genetic Eve. So we all do actually come back to maybe two people now. So we're all related. We're all cousins. I don't care how different we look or speak or even behave. We're all related. And I just think it's ridiculous that we have all this controversy going on. Of course, that said, I have the same kind of controversy amongst my own family. So, oh, I guess Rhonda's having problems. Her computer crashed. So, anyhow, guys, it's getting late. Why don't we go ahead and call it a night? We'll start up again next Sunday, 10 p.m. me time, or 6 p.m. me time, 10 p.m. for Eastern time. And we'll just go from there. You guys are getting tired, and I'm getting tired, and why don't we call it an evening and go. If anybody else has a question, jump in, but I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. So we will see you guys next Sunday. I don't know how many videos I may post this week. I will definitely be posting some. I've got some stuff to do with my drone, so I'm going to put some of that up, and we'll see where it goes from there. So you guys take care and be comfortable and have fun and behave yourselves, and we will see you guys another day. Bye, y'all.